Especially with the advent of the university coming into Kakamega, there's been a massive change in Kakamega. But again, I tend to agree with you. Has it really helped us as a business in Kakamega? For example, you talked about leverages of the university, that attachments to certain businesses within the town here, so that you build capacity in the business as well as we build capacity in the university. Because what happens is sometimes you get students coming out of university who are very good academically, but practically they are not to the standard that is required in the industry. Again, the other problem we have in Kakamega, and as I was building Holden Mall and I was trying to bring people in to Kakamega, the perception that they have is that we are still living in 1960s and 1970s in Kakamega. I'm talking about the big businesses, the big brand names to come to Kakamega. They feel that there is not a sufficient market here. They have not seen the change the university has made to Kakamega. But on the other hand, I quite agree with Banakabiso here that the way the politicians are marketing our place here, or the county government, is not helping the business community grow. And to grow, the perceptions must be changed. For example, he quite rightly put, sometimes I'm paying equal amount I'm paying in diesel for my generator as much as I'm paying Kenya Power and Lighting. So what attracts an investor here? We don't have proximity to markets. We don't have proximity to raw materials here. So we have to, the businesses in this area have to be assisted to survive. And I can't understand why the county government cannot understand. It's about volume. The more volume you have, the less you need to tax the businesses. Even right now, in my own businesses, I'm having problems where I'm getting inflated rates of tax to be charged, business licenses. And there's so many of them. Some time ago, there was a discussion of having one stop, where everything is under one license. Right now, you have fire, you have this compliance, you have that compliance. There are so many of them put together, which leaves room for wiggle in that. So I think if we are to invest people to come into our town here and invest, I think we need to be very straightforward and have a vision that we want an investor to come in and work with a clean heart. It's not having all the time to second guess that somebody's going to walk in the door and to hamper you. We have the tools to do it, but we just need the will to get it done. But I'm happy with the chambers at the moment. They're coming in. When we have a problem, we go to them and they take it up on our behalf. And I'll be very candid with you here. Sometimes when I walk into an office, they don't see a businessman, they see an Asian walking in and money walking in the door. But I'm a bit tough.
When we look at the bills when they're coming up, even the finance bill for this, no one looks at it. Even if they wake up and say the university should pay $1 million to operate here. There's nothing, because we don't look at the document, it is passed all over, and we have these particular challenges that we have. And the chancellor, the vice chancellor, we know that there is capacity, there is what we can do together. And what we can do together, we are the only one who can lobby the county assembly to come up with a law that you can't go to a business mission, an investment mission across the country unless you involve the business community. You see, like if they go alone politically, they will talk, the president will talk with the president. The business community will talk with somebody who is masquerading to be a business community. But when he comes, he has no business. So the chain has been broken.
Thank you for this, just to assure you that we as a university, we are there to come and answer to some of these things. The guy I've just invited here is the one who is dealing with linkages and international issues. In brief, dealing with the business community and others.
You invited us here to share together. My VC has said that we as university, we are ready to collaborate together. We actually look for partners so that we work to improve on things that you do. Like some of the things that he has mentioned, we will be willing to work together to make sure that, because I think the Chamber of Commerce have the same vision with us, because we want to improve the Wanchi. And the best way of doing this is actually advancing what they are using now and improving them so that we make them better people. I would like to assure you that the university management led by the VC has really allocated enough funds for us so that if we have a kind of linkages with people, we can agree together and we contribute some part. University also contribute so that we can come up with some kind of innovation.
That's what I had. Then also we need to partner with Kibisu. There's a law we are passing through the assembly to woo investors. We need to go into it and participate actively. So I'm putting it to you. Find out what that law is and let him go through. We talk with him and the other people there. He gave me a very funny example. He said that if we are not careful, even us we can be affected negatively. For example, he said if you discover that for us to do a business or to operate here, we must pay a tax of 1 million every day to the county government. They can pass it as it. So we need to be mature, isn't it? So let's work together for that. We need to hear about research. They are particularly concerned about green energy or any other source for the county. We are concerned about turning women and youth into business people. There are those things we can do to motivate women. In performance contracting, we are training women and youth on how to do business, on how to bid, on how to do tendering, those kind of things.
And I'm glad that there is this partnership between the chambers, the business people, and the university. There's an area that a lot has been going on, that is amongst the small-scale traders, the market here, and the small-scale farmers, the grassroots women within Kakamega, Sheyo, and other places. And I would request for the indulgence of the university to engage them in training, the indulgence of the university and the chambers. Training at a very lower level, at the grassroots level, because mostly they do not know how to pitch their businesses. They do not know how to brand. They do not know how to tender. And you know, there's this 30% that the women and the young people and the person with disability need to go for in business.
Like for example, we never fulfill our trade.
Yes.
30%.
It's because they do not know how to do that. As I've been interacting and asking for votes and asking for them to give me the opportunity to be their leader, that is one of the things that came out strongly. They are also asking for the opportunity to do business with the university and major organizations within this area and beyond. But they can do that only if they have the knowledge on how they can bid with others. Because if there's an open bidding, even if it is placed as purely for young people and women, if you do not know the procedures, you will not get the chance. So that is an area I would request. The other area I would request is for the persons with disability. There are times even the information on how they can go about with the accessing employment, accessing opportunities. If they would have help or partnership from the university, then I would come on board and help mobilize and work with you to ensure that they get to understand, to know how to grow from there. Thank you.
And for us, I've been here for about 9 months. I have gone round, I have seen the business environment here compared to Nairobi. Things are still a bit slow, but we appreciate that it's growing. I've interacted with youth. And one thing I should say, one of these meetings, I met a young lady who was bidding and she was very aggressive at it. And I thought to myself, this is what we want for our youth, what we want for us, what we want for our women. Yes, not a lot of them know the procedures and how to get about it, but it just shows that once you have the right networks with you and you have the right people to show you these ropes, then say 10 youth, she looked like she was 22, and I had to ask her, are you sure? And she was like, yeah, this is what I do day to day. it was around 7:30 we met at the nail salon. So this is what she does. She woke up at 6 to make sure that whatever documents she had got to Eldoret in time before the day. So I appreciate that we are growing, and the other youths that need to be told these things, and the women, even the men. We really need to, as I had her speak, the only thing I wrote here is the partnerships we need in businesses. There is something we know as advocates. If we have this platform to meet business people and engage them on that, the knowledge that we have, and then they can share the knowledges as well. We all have something to learn from one another. So once we have these meetings, regular meetings, we can share, even with the students' involvement, everyone can learn something. The technical skills that you mentioned, it is also very key. I have also noted this. In Nairobi, there was a scarcity of plumbers and electricians. I have come to Kakamega, it's the same thing. You will look for these skilled laborers, we call them, for a day or two. You actually need to make an appointment. And this is something that they can tap into. The young students in vocational trainings, are they being taught on how to make good of their skills, how to make money out of it, or are they just being brought to the environment and just go find yourself something to do? It's a Juakali economy. You need some skills, even as you are coming into this Juakali economy. Yes, you have the skills. Can you make good money out of it? Can you also brand yourself in a way that whenever someone needs a tailor, we know so-and-so is the best and he has branded himself as the best. So we are all coming to you, and even as you brand yourself, the opportunities that are immense out here, how are you tapping into those opportunities, into the business? As in,
I have a reaction about the business that can grow the economy of Kakamega. Mine is all about what can we do to improve the economy of Kakamega through business. For me, I find it difficult here for startups, for example. Startups, people are from colleges, universities, technical institutes. You know, the national government, the county government can't employ everyone from the college or universities. Others have to divert to businesses. But here, maybe you find it difficult for a startup to start a business with the county government or in a county or national government, because there are a lot of barriers that hinders those people to do business. I think Mr. Pape touched on the licensing module in county governments, then procurement laws in county government, national governments, then the requirements to do business with the county or national government. So those are the things that we have to come up to do research and give out the way forward, how youth or startups can start doing business with the county and national government.
From our reactions today, I've noted that at least all these organizations or institutions were running on the same goals, and if not the same, nearly the same goals. The chamber, we're also working out on the same goals on training, the way MUS is training, trying to train on tendering and other areas. Maybe we have not tapped into tendering, but we can at least maybe conjoin and do the trainings together, and also ensure that other business communities are also benefiting from the same. As we moved on, there's something that popped into my mind about the latest trends that happened in Kenya recently. We had an outcry on KFC importing potatoes, Irish potatoes from outside, and everyone had got their own opinion. Some could say our potatoes are low quality, some could say that was wrong. But in this case, what can we do to improve the quality of our products and services within Kakamega? Even if I'm doing, let's say, a barber shop, what can I do as a youth to improve my services so that the visit can stop going to that serious barber shop and just come to mine. That one thing we can do. Maybe is it training, and how can we do such trainings? How can we partner going forward to get that our lady here, Sylvia from MNO, how can she advise the chamber and the business community going forward so that when we are entering into partnerships, it can be fruitful? We already have an MOU with MOST on business, especially the business school, but we've not been utilizing it. Probably it's high time now we can make it more working, especially on trainings and also events and activities and research.
To this day, why were we meeting MOST? We are meeting MOST to know that there is expectation MOST have on the business community, and which the business community might not know. And there is expectation of the business community that has on MOST, that MOST might not know. So when we have a sitting with the person who is the technical person in that line, we will come up with a document that at the end of the period, we will communicate to our business communities that this is how MOST would like to work with you. The area for, I was just surprised when I was with the Vice Chancellor allowed me to discuss on this, to mention this. When I met David and Shatcliffe, they actually indicated that since they were here, they deal in water and the areas of water and solution in water. But they have never seen anyone from MOST coming to ask for an internship or attachment. Yet they are here. There are many organizations like Papaya Sakari said, my senior said, that your students are looking for internship or attachment. Yet employers here are actually finding that they could have somewhere where they can build. So unless we have a coordination area, your student can hang, because like he will tell you, sometimes when a student comes and passes on there, it is not very easy to reach him unless there is a coordinated way of doing that. So I wanted just to mention this item, and we look at it and in this particular story. Like, take for example when there was a tender for the laptops. JECWAT, with the business community in that region, ensured that they empowered JECWAT to win a tender of 17 billion. Now, that tender of 17 billion, what did it come with? It came with creating jobs, because JECWAT had to come up with an assembly line for laptops. And in fact, they have a park that is assembling laptops. So what has it done as far as the investment is concerned? The investment environment in that end, in partnership with the business community. Winning a tender of 17 billion from the government, the university cannot do it alone. Like when they are looking at solution in green energy, if he's already in the green energy, doing it, I thought that the university will learn faster in their research if they can look at what he has done and partner together to set up what it is. So there's a mutual benefit.
The last time, in terms of actualizing the MOU that we have the MOU, but actualizing, I think we need to meet together and now look at the areas. I know in the MOU they are highlighted some areas that we are collaborating together. But just as you have said, we need the actual practical solutions. We need to sit and identify, prioritize these areas and say, where are we going to start from? Madam here raised something about training some of the small SMEs here in town on how to do things like procurement and others. I would like to say that's a good thing. And actually, as I said before, we are the one actually to help the community which we are in. We have started it, but we were enhancing the training on women and youth and people with disability. You had the Vice Chancellor saying that we were not meeting the percentage. We would advertise when nobody was applying. And at that time we advertised and we gave the tender to some of the youths. They were supposed to do the landscaping. So they were not actually also, they couldn't do that. But just as you have said, we've started training, but we can discuss it together and now maybe target more groups. We have started in a small way, in terms of, there's something looking at people with disability. We usually give them priority. In fact, I can say these are the people who have really benefited because the procurement department usually guide them. They actually guide them on how to do it so that they can also compete for the tenders that we do. But as the master of ceremony has said, we can sit still together and see how we can engage more people and try to train them. About the green night, that's an area that Lizzie mentioned about. We had another company that they wanted to work with us. We engaged them, but there were some hitches on doing that. But I'm happy we have heard from you that we can still come and sit together and see how we can do research in this area. We have the people who can do this. We have the School of Engineering, where we have experts also in this area. So once we have an idea, a concept paper, we can develop a proposal on that and work on it. I think I can leave it at that.
He's actually on the way to Kennedy, but I had called him to ask him so that he gets home. We work together with him.
Thank you very much. All protocols, sir. As you've been informed, I'm Robert Egesa, I'm the Dean, School of Business and Economics. And with the Chamber, we've had some relationships in the sense that sometime last year, just before COVID, we had started some relationship with the Chamber through the formation of the KNCCI Junior Club in our campus. But when Corona came in, there was some interference a bit, and I can't say we went much. But in the initial stages, when you are planning for the breakfast meeting, was it last year? Yeah, we have been incorporated in, but with Corona, things went haywire. But as a school, and as my bosses have put it, we are ready to collaborate. And a good number of your members give our students attachments during the industry attachment period. So it's something that we can further work together and take research together, especially on the SMEs. We have a full-fledged section in the Department of Business Administration dealing with enterprise development. I think we can do much together.
I had taught close to 400 of them. So maybe every quarter we target to train X or Y. They came up and we teach them business. Tendering is just one of them. The issue of tendering, marketing, and all other issues. We actively teach them. Bidding, and all the like. If, for example, you know, when you say a women company, people think it's just women 100%. You know, women companies defined as one which has got slightly more than 70% women. Meaning, men are also allowed to be in. So it's not only just training women, we're training our community. The youth. People have always thought the youth should just be the youth. You know, in Central, people are smart. Are the old guys in the age and they organize youth groups so that you have 70% of the directorship is youth. But the old too are also benefiting. Did you know that? That's what we mean by the youth. They can easily get investors that way by involving the older generation, women and the like. They also don't know that university like most has contracted that 20% of its suppliers and all that must be local women or even the youth. So every year we keep on returning bad reports. But this must change this year. We need to activate that training through you. So I am aware of what Davis and Shep say, that we don't even have our interns going there. It's true. But I've had not only you. This is the second time I'm being told, frankly. Yet we have a school of engineering and business. So we need the youth to intern in such places. Is it because of this lack of partnerships? So we must do it. The technicians. We are equipping very many technicians through technical and vocational colleges. Some are blankers, some are electricians, some are masons, some are doing roofings and all that. But they don't know how to organize themselves into money-making ventures. Guys, you have just mentioned that Jomo Kenyatta won that issue of producing 14 billion worth of computers. That happened too to Moi.
Yeah.
And Moi went even further, they have revived the river tax. Guys, Jomo Kenyatta and Moi are worse off than they were from the beginning. They have not made, I don't know if they have made money. We don't know what's wrong. But I can tell you one truth. We as a nation got it wrong. Universities don't do business that way. What business do you think university should do best? The real business university should do best.
Capacity.
It's capacity building only. That's training. Those PhDs, those masters, those graduates, that's their main job. That's why they're efficient. But when you tell Masinde muliro to start producing sugar like Mumias, I assure you from the beginning we shall fail. So that was a wrong way of doing it. Not because they cannot do computers, they can. But this is how you do it. I just give you a model. You remember the Oxford, the vaccine. It's actually produced by Oxford University in England. But all they did is to sell their trade license to a company in India. That's the one which has factories. And now I heard last night, they're also selling the same rights to Kenya. In a few 2 months or so, we are going to produce vaccines in this country. It's a question of how do you, what is that bit that you sell? Now, at the end of it, according to the agreement they have made, probably for that vial you have, Oxford may not make all the money 100%, but they may be given 1%. But what is 1% of everybody in the world being judged? It's a lot of money, isn't it? So maybe more should only have been producing a process, not the whole tablet. Yet they bought into the idea of producing a tablet. So that's why I'm refusing this university not to produce sugarcane. Sugarcane is meant for the people, the community around to produce. Ours is to do something to enable the community to do what? To produce sugar. And that's why we are there. After they have produced the sugarcane, where do they sell it? Now I'm sad to hear that story of the potato. By the way, I've written so many papers on potato. The potato is potato. At you don't get it to have a high quality like this. Who told you? Like sugar. Sugar is sugar. But people package it in such a way that you think it's different. No. It's not. You end up thinking it's the perceptions, isn't it? So we need to work on people's perceptions. We need to work on the reasons why do you think it's cheap to have a potato from outside. And for example, do you know it's very cheap to import eggs from Uganda than produce some in Kenya? But the truth of the matter is that it's not cheap. It's just that the government has put into place in Uganda things that make their product cheaper. You mentioned about
licensing.
no, but there's a name he gave them up. The one who blocks startups.
Impunity. Obstructions.
Yes, obstructions. And when I began this talk, I told you for my daughter to import things from Malaysia. There are how many obstructions?
100.
About 30. In Rwanda, for startups, they are minimizing to, they are now an average of 8. In Kenya, they are almost 30. So where do you think investors will go?
Wonderful.
So in brief, we are going to partner, and our main job there is trading, capacity building. Then 2, our other job is research, to answer the questions that are there. And finally, we'll also give the business opportunities. Like for example, if you have a tender and a local person applied, they should have there should be some sort of, they find it easier to get it from us than an outsider. So thank you very much for inviting us. I want to promise you that we shall not let you down.
One of the things that I would like to see a benefit that comes in from the university is to interact more with the business community, and perhaps through the chambers now, is to identify where attachments, what the university is offering and what businesses already exist in Kakamega and what attachments could be given, and how the chambers can assist those businesses on how to legally accept those attachments into the institution. Because as businessmen, ours is not, our first call is not to train people, ours is to do business. But we are willing to work if parameters are set and we can bring people in. So I think that would be a good partnership between the university, chambers, and the business community. Now, a few years ago, chambers was very shaky. In fact, it was just there in name, 2 factions some time ago. And at that time, we as the business community in Kakamega set up an organization called the Kakamega Business and Residents Association when the first county government was coming in. The reason we set that up is because we knew we are going to be slapped on this side and we are going to be slapped on this side with taxes and get no service. In fact, we successfully took the county government to court when they put in their first finance bill and defeated it in court. They had to go back to the drawing board, and thank God later on, chambers came up with Banakabisu here, and we decided then to now disband that and put all the membership into the chambers. So the chambers really does make an impact, and it has made an impact since we are all working together. And that's the partnership that I can see here, that at university, when it came here, Ramesh and I have been here for very, very many years. We are one of the oldest Indian families in Kakamega. And we have seen Kakamega change, and the university was an accelerant. It really was. There's a time in Kakamega, I remember when I first came back from studies in '83, you could leave your car outside KCB, leave your windows down, and you could come back and nothing would happen. There are so few people on the streets even in Kakamega. But right now it's a totally different affair. Even to drive from KCB down that road is an issue. So we have expanded well. The university has created that expansion. But what I would like to request you, Banavisi, is let's have a bit more concentration on Kakamega. This lady mentioned about service. She's very right. You know, it's a perception that here in Kakamega, Nisawa too, we've got a lot of our people who go and work in Nairobi, yet they want the best standards in Nairobi. But when they come back to Kakamega, Nisawa too. Right? So why can't we have things in Kakamega that are standard of Nairobi? I cannot understand that.
Even better.
Or even better. And we have the people, we have the knowledge, and we have the know-how. One thing we have in abundance in Kakamega is population. We have a lot of people who want to work, but they must be given the opportunity. And I think it's a forum like this that can provide that.
I just wanted to say that like one, that I've learned a lot from Papi and they are the ones who can push me to become the chair. And one of the things that they are trying. Now, what we can say is that you can we must choose to participate in the economy of Kakamega and more land. because you are in the business. God bless you so much.
And being part of this great session. First, and member and corporate, Ramesh, for coming. You, I'll ask and you will advise on how we can structure internship here in this session.